Oh yeah, Joel.
Wait a minute. Before we start, let's answer this question right here. So welcome, Grasshopper. Nirvana CD kind of bummed me out that it sounded better than the first press vinyl. Now, let's hold up here. I never said better. That's not. Never said that.
I didn't agree with that. I thought the vinyl. I thought it was a different experience, and I actually liked the record better.
Different experience. That's the thing. That Dom is right. That's what we should focus on. Different.
Very different. It's not one of those things where you couldn't hear the difference. It was very audible.
Yes. So go
I
ahead.
think that was the first time I ever heard that record on vinyl. I was watching your side by side yesterday.
I've never heard the original like in person.
Yeah.
Like so.
Come to Texas.
Yeah, let's do it. I'll bring my org press.
That's right. That's right. I just want to say, like, it sounds different, and I don't want I'm gonna just be honest here. Like, the real meaning of the video was to question, why is the OG selling for over $1,000? Like, that is the question.
Silly,
you know. And it's not about memorabilia and nostalgia, right? These things are playing to effect, and also like they're a great band. Like, of course, the record is amazing. Like, that's not, you know, they're probably better than the Knicks right now and the Spurs, right? Let's just be honest.
All time, will always be better. Yeah.
Fighting words. The
Knicks could win a championship. Maybe that'd help.
Okay. Hopefully we answer that question for everybody, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, BK, I could have put on my wolf mask if I found it. I may be able to find it for you and put it on. Would that make you feel better and get that voice that he has?
I might have to go find mine.
Oh, you have one.
Kind of.
I can get.
Hey man, how's it going?
That's right. That's right.
That's your role here today, Joe.
Okay. Wow. Look at this. Easy now. Speaking of next comparison, it will be the Funkadelic. I got to pick up my copy from Joel, but I
to the first press CD.
Right.
Yeah, right. That'd be hilarious.
Jeez.
Like the 1987, like those shitty ass mastered CDs.
Well, the thing is, I've wondered, you know, with that Nirvana comparison, a lot of seasoned audiophiles, they say CDs sound bright. In this case, I don't think I have the CD right here. This is not a bright CD. This was not.
Mm-mm.
You know?
No, I didn't think so.
So I'm thinking, from what I remember, like listening to those Beatles, like 87 CDs, those things sound super bright. So my theory is by the 90s, they figured out CD mastering, you know? It wasn't a mystery. They figured it out. Gosh. But this can't be true. No way.
No, is that for real? Which one? I want to order 3.
It sounds too absurd to not be true.
Wait, what's that? So you're talking my home, my backyard here with Man Jones.
Mangione.
Yeah, I saw that Gapman Jones record just got reissued. It was listed on Force Exposure. Is that legit or what?
I can't remember, but I did see it. It's never been reissued, I think, until now, right?
I don't. Yeah, it's one of those things that pops up here around here. Of course,
we see it a lot here too. It was like a $50 record, but I think that's changed.
Yeah, I think he still plays. I always forget. Chuck's dead, but Gap's alive, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Gap still plays. I think at the local, like this little hotel resort. Like he's the band, the
house band.
The house band. Yeah, it's
That's
right
crazy.
next door to where I used to work too. It's like this like posh little overlooking the city, basically. It's really cool.
I feel like I've heard Beato
Never seen
mention
him.
that.
Yeah, so Beato's from here too, and I'm pretty sure I worked with his brother. One of my last projects at my old job I worked at for years on that hill was for Beato, and man, they look just alike.
What?
Yeah, and I think the guy I worked with lives 2 blocks away from me. So then I start watching Rick Beato's thing, and he'll reference Rochester sometimes and Eastman and stuff. Yeah. And I'm like, I wonder if he's related because they look alike. I think Rick's younger than the guy I was working with, but
yeah, I think Rick's the youngest out of all of them from the stories I've heard him tell. So maybe you did. That's kind of wild.
Yeah.
There we go. Be with.
Hey, Jason, do you mind if I take the floor for 30 seconds?
Sure. Do you want to be big on this?
No, I don't have to be big. I'm gonna kind of blindside you guys with something, and I don't really call on the VC for much support. I love all you guys. And but there's something I really want to push here.
Get out of here.
I was wondering about this yesterday because it was Sunday. I was like,
we had peace in the VC, and we're taking strides in the right direction. But something's been missing over the past 5 or 6 months.
2 verified signatures,
and we're looking to really bring back the greatest live DJ stream in the VC on Sunday mornings or some other time, whatever works for Jason. But we're going to share a link in the chat. If you guys could sign this petition,
change.org.
Yeah, if we get 3 or 5 signatures, it goes up on change.org officially and can really get some weight behind this thing. So Joel, maybe you could drop it in the chat. And
can we get Mazzy behind this?
Yeah, I think Mazzy, can we get your signature on this petition? I know you're a social mover. We got to get Jason back live on Sunday mornings or any other day of the week, Jason. But this is the we have peace in the VC. We've crushed Fremer and the audiophile community. We just got one more piece of the puzzle to complete, and it's getting Jason back once in a while here. So
refresh the page. See if we have any more signatures.
See if we can get one more signature here. Of course. I'm seeking a signature, Dom.
All right.
Oh wow.
Let me find it.
Jeez.
Put the linky out there. Linky it.
I think Joel just dropped the link in the chat.
All right, we're gonna get it up to 10. We could
Mazzy, your signature counts as 3, so throw it up there. We're gonna get this up on change.org. I'm part of the generation where they got a Family Guy petition back on change.org, so we can get
this
comment.
Look at this comment.
Is that what it is? You become newfound? You're born again?
Born again. VC NATO.
That's right.
Nice.
That's hilarious. Joel's comment here. Help him see the error of his ways. Really?
Rojas is actually doing actual harm to the world by not doing a Sunday morning DJ stream. Help him see the error of his ways. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Let's get some signatures here, man. Anyway, Joel, maybe in about 45 minutes we can get an update. We'll post a link again. We'll do a little infomercial.
That sounds like a plan.
Thanks, Joel. Thanks for that platform, guys. I don't ask for much from everybody.
Jeez.
Worthwhile cause. Worthwhile.
That's right. Gosh. So
we have Joe here. Joe is guesting. He's the Wolfman today.
Yeah, man.
There we go.
How's it going?
There we go. President of Carbon Records, the Wolfman here.
Yeah.
Yes.
Let's put his website on the chat.
No, you don't have to do that.
What?
No, we're going to.
No, it's full shill time, baby.
Yeah, it's funny is
Joel,
last week you went and put it up there, and I'm like, oh shit, I forgot to put a new release up there because I get in the habit of putting them on Bandcamp, and then I forget about my own site. And I'm a software developer too.
So we'll share the Bandcamp one.
Yeah, it's packed.
So, Joe, while Jason's doing that, what tell us give us the Wikipedia on your label. What's the history?
Yeah.
The elevator pitch.
Yeah. Always be closing.
I started in '94. So the spring after I graduated college in the end of summer '93.
And why did you do this?
Because I took enough credits and I got a diploma. What do you mean? Why I graduated?
No, that's also a good question. But yeah.
I started playing in a band in 91. So I'm older than all of you guys, I think. Started college in 88. Started getting into music a lot in 86. My boss turned me on to weird music, basically, through a mixtape. I still have a copy of it somewhere here. So I get to college and I'm just like ravenously buying records and not CDs yet, you know, because 88, I'm a late adopter usually. So I was buying records and, you know, meeting people like you did back then by just wearing a band shirt or having a record or playing records in your dorm. So eventually, like 91, I decide I'm going to DJ at the college station with my buddy. And as we were ragging on the, I'm giving you a long version. We were ragging on the station all the time because the station we thought was crap, right? And it was like,
no, this is Rochester, right?
Yeah, it was RIT, Rochester Institute of Technology. So we felt like all the DJs, it was a club, you know, and all these kids liked each other, but they didn't seem like they were really into music or finding out about new music. So it was like they were just playing like schlock, and it was like it almost felt like automation, but this is pre-automation era, you know. So anyway, we start DJing, and I got us kicked off the air like 2 weeks into training by playing some songs I shouldn't have played. And then, you know,
what were those songs?
They were watching us, you know, because they knew we were bitching
swear
about
like bad words, like
so Drive Like Jehu song, which had you know, that dude Rick Froberg would say fucking like every song. But the one that really got me was the Sebadoh song "Gimme Indie Rock."
Oh, classic.
So in the song, they got me on a couple things on this. I was brought up in front of a board of like, you know, faculty advisors and a bunch of students.
Yeah.
It was because I don't know if you guys don't know the song, it's like Sebadoh, it's Lou Barlow going down like this great list of like indie rock bands, you know, and like indie rock history, right? And Pussy Galore is one of those bands. So they get me for saying the word pussy on the air.
You're referring to a cat, so it's okay.
Well, and you're also referring to a character from
I know all these rules.
You know, 007 movie. So I actually got some people standing up for me for that one. But what they really got me for was a call to action, because I played it from a CD sampler that the label, whatever label it was, put out, or CMJ might have put out, and it was called Buy This U CD. And I said, this is on a CD called Buy This U CD. And they're like, that's a call to action. I'm like, no, that's the name of the CD. And they just would not budge on that.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Anyway, I got kicked off. I decide to, I go home after that spring. I'm coming back to campus for the summer to work or whatever. I forget what. I go home and I take my brother's bass. He had this really shitty bass and a little 10-watt amp. I'm like, all right, screw it. I'm going to learn how to play bass and start a band. So that summer I'm working on campus, and I put on our internal little, you know, web thing. It wasn't web yet, but hey, is anybody want to like start a band or learn how to play? I don't know what I'm doing. And I meet this kid who's working across the hall, and he knows how to play guitar. So all summer long, we just jam and jam and jam. And come the fall, my friend Bobby comes back to town, and I knew she played drums in high school. So I'm like, hey, you want to play drums in the band? She's like, yeah, sure. You know, and we just start writing songs. We try to cover songs, but, you know, I wasn't good enough to like play any other songs. But yeah, we did that for a while and put out a couple of cassettes, and I got that little bug. I really liked doing printing and packaging and making my own stuff. You know, I got into that. So yeah, I did the 2 cassettes during college, and then we all finished in 93. And over that fall and winter, I traveled a lot, and I did this long road trip and stuff. And no, I didn't do that yet. But anyway, I was just thinking about like starting a label, and Jenny Toomey, and I always forget the other woman's name, from Simple Machines. I don't know if you know the Simple Machines label, legendary indie label out of the Virginia DC area, right? They were in Tsunami together, and Geraldine something, right?
Geraldine Fibbers?
Yeah, no, something like that. No, something like that.
Not
Grenadine something.
Grenadine.
Yeah, lots of indie rock stuff. So they put out this zine called like The Guide to Record Pressing or something like that. And it was how you put out a record.
Cool.
Like what lacquer meant, what a lacquer was, what stamping meant, what 2 or 3 step stamps meant. You know, how you got jackets made. It was a list of like resources to use, you know, like, so they talked about United, which was this record pressing plant in Nashville that pretty much at that point, I think, focused on 7 inches. And then the plant across the street was a different company and they did like LPs. So they would talk about that, and they would talk about, you know, the whole idea of, you know, you got to have this big upfront cost, you know, the setup cost. And that happens when you're printing books and anything that takes a while, you know, set up a press, right?
Yeah.
You're going to have the setup fee. And then once you get that going, like the units just crank, and that's those fees are cheap, you know? So if you do 100 records or 200 records, the 200 is only going to cost you a little bit more, and 300 is only going to cost you a little bit more, you know, because you're paying that huge setup fee in those first 100. So the zine like talked a lot about that, and I was just like, well, shit, I could do that.
Nice.
Right. So yeah, so I did. The very first thing I put out was my own tape of solo work. Dom hilariously got the name wrong, and I kind of want to use it.
I did.
Tunis +1, I think you said. It's a dumb name. It was even dumber when I started.
I like that you brought it back just for that show.
No, it's always been around.
Well, yeah.
I rarely ever play solo though. I do the stay tour thing I'll talk about every year, and that's really the only time I play solo throughout the year because I'm in too many bands. The very first release was technically called Joe +4 equals Poopy. And Poopy was my mom's nickname for me when I was a kid, and I went with it. And 4 was
drum machine or something like the Mary Chain.
No, 4 was the 4-track. So I had a Tascam 4-track. So it was me and my 4-track. And then eventually it was like, I think Poopy might be a little goofy. So I dropped the Poopy and became Joe +4. And then when I went digital, I became Joe +N because I was no longer limited to 4 tracks. Nice. Even though it was a 4-track, it wasn't really limited to 4 tracks because you can, you know, bounce things around.
Outside of your own releases, what are some of the projects that you're most proud of over the years?
I don't know.
Or well, like what really stands? Maybe not most proud, like choosing your favorite kid, but like what really stands out to you as like a crowning achievement?
Yeah, I mean, last year was a big thing for me. I put out these 2 records by EYE. It's a trio out of New Zealand, and they feature Peter Stapleton, who is like a legend in the New Zealand music scene. He passed away in 2020, I think. So he had this. He's been in like a ton of bands. In fact, the latest zine that I did this little like mind map of all only a subset of the connections that he had with so many bands in New Zealand. And it's massive. He's been in just a billion bands. So he had this band called It was a three-piece, and they had been playing and recording, and they had a lot of material, and they had started working on putting those releases together. And then he died. I mean, he had cancer, so I mean, it was terminal. It wasn't like a surprise. Thanks, man. Who's Breakfast King of Loyola? We've realized we have a lot in common music-wise over the last couple months. Yeah, good stuff. So they reached out to me because I was already working with some New Zealand folks, and so they reached out to me and they're like, "Hey, would you want to put out these records?" You know, and I didn't know the guy reaching out to me. I didn't know. I had a record by but I didn't know him personally.
So those are not put out somewhere else in New Zealand, by the way.
No, yeah. They just reached out to me.
Carbon exclusive.
And I'm a little, you know, I was wary about it because I'm like, I don't really know you, and it involves somebody who died. So I'm like, I want to make sure there's permission was granted, you know, families or whatever consultant. And he, you know, I have friends who are there, and they were like, oh yeah, no, that dude's totally stand up, and he cleared it all, and that was a huge deal for me that, you know, I got to work on those 2 records. And then the same time, like, right before that, I got to work on Bill Doreen record. And Bill Doreen is another legend. And he was in a band with Peter Stapleton in like 78 called Vacuum.
Wow.
And Bill Doreen won like a Lifetime Arts Achievement Award last year in New Zealand by like New Zealand Art Foundation or something. So it was kind of a big deal for me. That came through Grapefruit. You know, we co-released it. But
how many copies of the zine do you make? Like, how many do you have? Like subscribers, or how does that work?
So the zine that Paul was referring to was the I zine, and that we did for the 2 records. So the 2 records got released separately. The band wanted them to be treated separately, not as like a double. And it had to do with the era. Some of it has Peter Stapleton's known to be a drummer, right? And some of it is all him drumming. And then the other release was him on synth because he couldn't drum anymore. He was too sick at the time. And he had been throughout his career playing synth as well, but everyone knows him as a drummer. And so they wanted him separately, and I was totally fine with that. And I had a friend of mine who is from New Zealand but lives here. I asked him to help me write a one sheet. If you guys, I'm sure you know what a one sheet is, but it's, one sheet. It lists the release date and the wholesale pricing and then information about the record. And he wrote me something that was like 7 pages long.
Oh wow!
I'm like,
and
it was amazing.
One sheet is okay.
And I'm like, this is not a one sheet, dude, but that's getting printed somehow. So that's when I decided. I reached out to the band. I'm like, start sending me photos. I got permission to reprint some eulogies that like Bruce Russell did and some other people did. And we put out the zine that came with if people bought both records, they got the zine separately.
Oh, okay.
I do a separate zine real quick called My Teeth Need Attention, which is kind of what my YouTube is sort of based on. And that I do usually about 100, 150 to begin. And then, if they sell, I make more, but I don't have subscribers or anything now. Yeah.
The I records, if you're wondering what they sound like, it's not like the New Zealand sort of like pop or indie rock stuff. It's more, I kind of liken it to like, the more free moments of Sonic Youth when they have like, stretched out noise bits, like take that and sort of spread that on a record. There's no guitars though, right? It's all synthesizers or
no, there's guitars in there.
Oh, there is guitars. Yeah. What am I saying?
Yep.
So I mean, it's not chords, not big chords. It's more of like free sort of noisy ambient. Ambient is kind of the wrong word for it.
Yeah, in a general sense, I think of New Zealand music as like roughly, and this is totally simplified, but 3 buckets. You got the Flying Nun, jangle pop or whatever, rock, clean, bands like that, Chills stuff. And then you got the free noise stuff, and that's like this, like the Dead Sea, Gate. And then you have the super droney guys, like that Rosie Parlane record, Dom, that you just picked up, and like Omit. Much more experimental and like drone type people.
Fascinating the amount of music that's come out of there too.
Oh yeah,
there's a bunch of experimental music. I mean,
I've been thinking about my record collection because I keep trying to weed it down, and I think I've come to the realization that I could sell everything but New Zealand music, and I'd be fine with it.
Wow.
So if anybody's looking to buy some of that,
that's the section I never go into to purge. Like I never do.
Right? Me neither. Yeah.
Two quick questions on this. So, the first part of the question is, why did they choose your label, like your independent label in New York, in the U.S.? Like, what is there a story behind that? And the second thing is, did you go over there to meet these guys, or you guys did this all power of the internet, and communication?
No.
So
yes, my bucket list is to get to New Zealand at some point. My partner refuses to do that because she doesn't like flying over water, and it takes forever to get there.
Yeah.
But I need to do it. I have to figure out a way to do it that justifies it. Like, maybe I could play a fest or something like that.
Sure.
There used to be great grant money in New Zealand where they'd be able to do that. And the arts grants, they've been getting decimated from their governments over the last 5-10 years.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Why they picked me? I mean, I think it's just connections, and the various folks that I've done a couple things with Bruce Russell. So he's in the Dead Sea. I don't know if you know him or not. He ran Expressway Tapes, which is this like legendary tape and lathe cut label that I'm always looking for stuff, but it's always really expensive. Like tapes go for hundreds and hundreds of dollars. And then he ran another label after that called Corpus Hermeticum, which was mainly CDs. That's what those beige things up there are. It's fascinating. So I had worked with him and Michael Morley, also in the Dead Sea. I'm trying to think of who else. And then I just, Anthony Milton, all these other folks that are like more my age, because those guys are a little older. And I think they're like, yeah, I think that dude, I don't know, won't fuck us over, I guess.
Yeah. Well, that's cool.
Good reason. Yeah.
I don't know. Like, you'd have to ask them, nice. I guess. I never asked them, I don't think. I get contacted all the time, and they're like, oh, Bruce gave me your contact info. So, yeah, just like in the last 2 days, I got 2 of those.
Connections and doing the right thing. That's a pretty good business model.
Yeah, and I've been doing it long enough where they're like, oh, I guess he knows how to fake it. So,
Nice.
I'm stubborn. I don't quit things. So.
And it's been a consistent label throughout 30 years, right? Pretty much year in, year out.
Yeah, it's funny. I mapped. I did a 25-year art installation at the local gallery that my buddy owns. It's a really nice gallery, and I twisted his arm to give me one of the little rooms, and I mounted all of my releases on the wall, and then I did like a plot of like how many releases per year and stuff like that, and the formats, and each they were all organized by format too. So of course, like I started out doing cassettes and mostly 7 inches. Then I went into CDs, and CDs are really expensive, and you had to do like 1,000 when I first did it. Like you couldn't do less than 1,000 at a pressing plant, which sucked because that means that's why I have like 900 Hilka CDs in the basement. And then I was a software engineer, and I was doing a lot of work for Kodak, so I knew a lot about technology that was happening. Kodak had this thing called a photo CD. I don't know if you remember this at all, but you'd be able to, get your photos on a CD. And so we had these burners at work, and I'm like, can we burn audio on that? And they're like, well, you need software to do that, blah, blah, blah. And it was really tricky to burn audio back then. So eventually, they were all really expensive, the burners. And eventually one came out by Philips. It was like under $1,000, and I bought it. I used to go like browse and hang out on Saturdays at the computer shop downtown. So I bought it, and I was like, all right, cool. I'm going to start doing CDRs, just like cassettes, like make however many you want and hand make all the covers. And so I did that, bought a spindle of blank CDs, 100 of them for $600.
What brand? Verbatim?
Oh, who knows, dude? I have no idea. It was like the only one I could find. I mean, there was barely websites at this point. This is like 96, 95.
Wow. Okay.
Jeez.
Wow.
So I did a couple releases. I did one of my own, and they came with pebbles inside the jewel case because it was all about the Erie Canal, because I do a lot of field recording. And then my buddy Nuge had a project called Sheet, where he plays amplified sheet metal. So he made...
Amazing.
Yeah. Sorry for his landlord, but he went and melted a bunch of jewel cases with like a torch and then spray painted them silver in the hallway of his apartment on the hardwood floors because he's an idiot.
Oh, jeez.
And then I did another one by Finkbeiner, these are all, good friends of mine. We all went to college together. We're all in Pengo together. And so I had these 3 releases, and people started buying them, and no one could play them because CD players could not handle a CDR at that point.
Wow.
They would glitch. Amazing. They'd give me an error. And I'm like, well, I guess I'm too early for that. So I put that away, went back to CDs for a while. And then a few years later, I started noticing all these noise labels putting out CDRs. I'm like, oh, I guess now's the time. And it worked. And so, and then I did I did CDR releases only for years. Cause Dom could be like, hey, you want to do a CD in my band? I'm like, yeah, cool. I'll put it out tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd go in. I had like usually 2 or 3 computers, each with 2 or 3 burners in them. And I would just sit there at night working because I'm a night owl. and I would just be like changing CDs all night long, and
So
they
you
burn
just
at
did them
like
on demand.
they burn at like 30x, 32x, you know.
Oh,
so I was
wow.
like, I can carry through 100 CDs in like 2 nights.
Wow.
Were you just printing them on demand?
Oh no, I'm an idiot. I would print them all
Yeah.
up front, and then then I would not sell like 80 of the 100 I made. I should have just printed them on demand, but
Yeah.
What are some of the highlights of those years in terms of like things, doing better than you thought they would, or
Yeah, I mean, I did this guy. You know that guy, Sonic.
Oh,
Youth?
yeah.
That's
Mhm.
Thurston Moore. Yeah, he's great, man.
Wait,
He
show it again?
I met him years ago, and I just cold called him.
show it
I'm like, hey,
again.
you want to do a release? What's that?
Show it again.
Yeah, what release is it?
This one's CR 192.
Wait, is that going to get us banned? Hold on. Is there
I have that on vinyl.
Oh, that low
What's
guy?
the title of this
Guy
one?
there? It's called Suicide Notes for Acoustic Guitar.
Yeah, I have that on vinyl.
Okay, nice. I haven't heard that.
Wait,
And
did
that
you
was
release it on
a
vinyl?
cold call.
I don't
Yeah,
think
there's
it's
a vinyl of it.
there's another one, but I don't think it's the same material.
The same photo, you mean?
No, the music.
If only we could figure it out.
I can go get it, but it's in the.
Otherwise, I'm suing him. No.
What?
Freaking
No,
news.
he's been great. Like he is always for years and years. I mean, there's a whole book about. They're all interviews with people who have had interactions with him, and a lot of them are people like me who just ran weird labels or put on weird fests, and like, hey, you want to do something? He would like, as long as it didn't interact and conflict with the Sonic Youth thing at the time, he'd be like, yeah, sure. And he would
That's
just
amazing.
send me a track, immediately. He's on multiple comps that I did. I started Dirty 3 a couple weeks ago in Toronto. Great Australian band. And I met Mick Turner years ago. He played the Bug Jar when he was doing solo and living out of Chicago at the time. Same thing. I went up to him, I'm like, hey, you want to put a record on CD comp? He's like, yeah, sure. Send me a DAT, 2 weeks later. Yeah, highlights. I mean, meeting Lauren Connors back in Western Mass. We went to Byron and Thurston had a space called Newgrass. It was in Northampton, I think. It's like Western Mass, right?
Yeah.
And we went out to see Lauren was playing and Cher Lamade's. And I think there was one other, maybe a local person played. And we knew those bands, but we didn't know those people and stuff. And we went out there, and I mean, it's like Feeding Tube. Feeding Tube is the current era of that store, basically. And it was incredible. Like, you'd flip through these records and you'd be like, holy crap. You couldn't believe what you were looking at. And then you'd bring a stack up to the counter, and Byron would just like, flip. It's adding in his head. It's like, I don't know, 200. He'd give you these like crazy great deals, like store. I don't find a lot of stores do that nowadays. Some do, where they'll be like, oh, well, I'll get you a break on this, unless they know me, I get deals at some local places. But anyway, Lauren played and Cher Lamade's played, and I went up and talked to him, and I was like, hey, would you ever want to do a release, maybe a CDR? And they were like, yeah, totally. And that was right around the time I was planning.
Are they aware of your label at all, or they're just like, oh, he seems cool?
Probably
they're just
not.
like,
no, I can't imagine. I mean, this was 99.
Yeah, I guess at that time
and I was around for like 5 years, whatever.
Yeah.
I was planning a series of CDR releases. It was called the CDR series, and it was going to run for a year, and it was 2 releases a month.
Wow.
Which is a stupid rate, right? But I got those 2 were part of that. So I put out a Lauren CDR called Lullaby, and then I put out a Cher Lamade's called Yih, Y-I-H. That one was incredibly hard. It was like I kept buying. I would buy materials at like kitchen places, like Bed Bath & Beyond and stuff. I would buy like placemats because you'd get placemats in all these weird things.
I figure it out. It's
that's where the photo. Look at that photo.
Okay.
The photo is here. It's in this one.
Ah.
Oh
Okay.
yeah.
Right. But I knew I'd seen that photo.
That's later. Even that album's from like 2010 or something.
Yeah, Beck produced this record. It's really good.
Really
good.
It's a sad album.
So I got to suit Beck.
Get a suit back, yeah.
No, but I got into like doing a handmade packaging. So I did these like woven strips of photo, all unique, and placemat, like bamboo placemat, and that's what the Cheryl Laminaze thing was.
This has always been a labor of love, is the point. This has never been about retail or commerce, so to speak.
But you had a full-time gig while you're doing this?
Right. Yeah, I mean, I've been a software developer since 93. So that's my day job. Yeah. So I've never had to worry about the label making me money. Which is a great privilege to have.
Yeah.
So it's a matter of
point. Has it been profitable?
At times, maybe.
So it ebbs and flows.
Right. Yeah. I mean, right now I'm doing like 20 to 22 LPs this year.
Wow.
So right now, I've learned to know.
You've grown it to the point where you have that money to play with.
Ebbs and flows,
work with. Yeah.
And I just have
what's your average
to time
pressing
things
number? Correctly.
Yeah, so I press usually at least 250 copies, and the most I've ever pressed LP wise is 500.
And are you selling out generally of the 250?
Usually, eventually, yeah. Not quickly. Some things quickly, but like 250 will take me probably like 2 years.
Okay.
Yeah. But I think like things are ramping for me now, and that's why I've kind of had the uptick of my frequency of releases, because I see that I'm selling more now, and I don't know if it's hard to figure that out. Why, right? Is it the quality of stuff I'm putting out? Is it the fact that more people are finding out about me? Or I think it also helps with I put out stuff more frequently, so I'm in the mind. It's kind of like the stupid fucking algorithm. That's why social media people like have to, post all the time. But I think that's somewhat true. Like you think about the flood of releases that we're bombarded with. This is why I don't release stuff on Bandcamp Friday, because I wake up to about 300 emails on Bandcamp Friday. God, so I'm like, if I release something on that day, what's the chance that somebody else is going to notice that, right? So I've gotten away from doing that.
Well, things are on the rise. I mean, you should have got on the bidding war on the Engine de Poitrine. I mean, come on, Joe, you could do it.
I should have bet on one of the polymarks on how many emails I'd get about that goddamn band.
Yeah.
So did you ever? Do you continue to do your software development? Do you do it because you have to, or do you do it because you want to? Like, has there ever been a push where you thought, like, let me really try to have this label be the main source of income?
Yeah, I mean,
or have you actively chosen not to?
It's been mainly necessity to not to, and I like programming. I like coding. Most people my age, like all my friends who are programmers and I worked with for years, they're all managers now. And I'm like, they don't write code at all. And I'm like, what the hell? What are you doing? Like, I love writing code.
They join meetings and they talk a lot all day.
Yeah, it's insane.
Don't produce anything.
Yeah, and
I
now
feel attacked.
And now they're not hiring entry-level engineers because middle-level engineers can use AI and become more productive. It's tough. My industry, it freaks me out a little bit on what's going on. But anyway, over the years, people have always asked me like, "Hey, would you want to do this for a living? Like, quit your day job?" And I used to always say no. Like, I don't want to run the label thinking I gotta make money, on a release. I want to put out stuff that I think should get put out.
The minute you do that, then you're sort of forced to like, I gotta sell some stuff.
Right.
I gotta put out something maybe that's gonna.
Now I feel like, I don't know, it might be fun. I'm freelance, so I've been a freelance developer for in 2008, 2009, after the financial crisis stuff. The company I worked for years dumped all the software guys, so I went freelance. But I was like working with a group of guys, and I was like, I had a retainer with them, so I didn't have to worry about booking work, right? So for like 5 or 8 years, I did that. So I don't really count that as freelance. Since then, I've been freelance. So my schedule is way more flexible. I know what work I have. I know when I'm getting paid. So then I can focus on label stuff when I need to. Or if I have a downtime in day job, then I can spend more time on the label at that point. So it's a real weird mixture of, it's just constant sort of, and my kids are older now, so I have way more time on my hands.
So I'm kind of curious. Because we invited Jose, I want to give Jose a chance to so regarding your label and specifically like the number of releases you're doing a year, the number of pressings you're doing, and how you're selling through. Do you have any information you want to share about that kind of?
Well, I guess my difference is that this is my only day job that I have. This is my.
So you're doing the label full time?
Yes, sort of not fully because I want to, but I'm an audio engineer. That's what I graduated on. I went to university here in Latin America. An engineering degree is 5 years instead of, I think, 3 in the US. Don't remember, but it's 5 years. So it's a long time, and you graduated from that. And guess what? You want to work on that, but you soon realize that an audio engineer is sort of there's a studio, and there's probably the guy that owns it is probably the main audio engineer, and then you have like 2 or 3 other guys working there, and so it's basically just betting on someone dying, and they wanted us to work there. So it becomes difficult, I would say that. So early on, before I graduated, just as to help out the bands that were playing around me that I thought were really good, but were only releasing stuff digitally, I started making cassettes. That's what we started doing. We started doing like 25 cassettes, 50 cassettes, just for shows. And all of a sudden, I started noticing that a lot of people my age, I was 18, 19, and I started realizing there were a lot of people that really wanted to connect with like physical media. I guess I don't know. 2018 seems like a million years ago, but I would say that the full swing of vinyl and cassette was still not like at its max, but it was getting there. And so there was a lot of people that wanted to help out bands. I personally would say that since this is my only day job, it's not like I have to focus a little bit about getting money in, know. But and my difference, I guess, is that I feel really good with bands and artists that I work with, since I live here in Latin America. I live in Mexico. That I need to help out the bands that I'm putting out that they can sell well outside of Mexico as well as here. So because I feel joy when I hear people like buying, I see people buying a record and I have to ship it, I don't know, like Taiwan or whatever, it feels nice that the bands are doing that. And for example, one of the bands that I put out a record by, Diles que no me maten, they just announced a world tour.
I saw that. Yeah, it was very cool.
So it feels nice. It feels nice. I've had cases. Mave Frati, my friend, shout out to Mave. She started on my label, and right now she's going to be in Warp Records. So that's pretty big. And then I have another artist. Her name was Brati. That she started with me, and right now she's Universal. Of course, it's like, like, oh wow, they're not with me anymore. But I don't see it like that. It means that I was right when I had to be there, and that my consciousness was correct in the assessment of bringing this type of music to physical media. So I don't see it as a bad thing. I when I was working a little bit during and before the pandemic, I was working. I did feel that I was not giving any time at all to the label at all. Like, so I was doing like 3 releases a year, something like that. And then when the pandemic started and I started working on this, like, nonstop, I started figuring out that if I put all in, if I went all in on the label, these bands were also having a more, a better chance, because I don't have their backs, and I'm supposed to do that, because releasing someone's music, I think it's something really heavy. It's a heavy load, to have in your back, because they trusted you to put out their music. And if you don't do it right, if I just press the records and just like have it there. So I do press as little as I can, which is right now like 250, 300 copies. And I have thanks. I have right now my infrastructure is that I have enough stores and people that I already sell to, that I can sell pretty much more than half of it within the week that I announce it. So that helps to pay for the record, and then everything after that, because I give a big chunk of the copies to the artists. Normally it's between 20 and 25% of the copies to the artists, and they don't have to pay a single cent for that. So that's negative amount, right? So instead of being like X amount what cost me to doing records, it becomes X amount plus their copies, which is, I guess, a negative. So with that in mind, I have to do I have to, for every 10 record stores that I've sent an email, if they want copies, I would say like 1 replies. And it's a 50-50 if they want it or not, especially since I'm here. Right now, especially, and well, you've experienced this with me, Joel. Right now, shipping anywhere is horrible. It's shit. I was talking today with where I press my records in the Czech Republic, and to ship them from the Czech Republic to Italy, it's 60 copies. It's $70, $75.
Damn.
And I told them, like, what the fuck is going on? They were like, oh, the what war in the Middle East. Because if you go to UPS or DHL or all those, it says like shit's going down, like So it's absurd. So, for example, they literally told me it's so expensive right now to ship to Japan, and to the UK, that they're gonna send me their copies here, and I'm gonna have to like send them in normal mail over there because it's gonna be cheaper. So it's crazy. It's delay times, blah blah blah. But again, I feel the necessity of trying to do everything in my power to help these bands, because the reason I started the label was because I thought there was a lot of great music from Latin America that it was just being left, like in the middle of nowhere, and people were just releasing it, and after like 2 months it was like gone. Like nobody remembered that it came out. Maybe like by the end of the year somebody was like doing a list of like, hey, do you remember this record that came out at the beginning of the year? But that was it. So physical media allows you to just have like the record present with you all the time, that you can feel like somebody spent money on it. So it lives in an environment that people want to not only accumulate stuff, but actually like play it, listen it, the artwork. It becomes this whole thing, So
out of curiosity, before we get to the promo question, because I am curious about that, I don't know if it's too soon, but this question could be for either one of you. So you said one of your artists got signed to Warp. Is there do you anticipate that with the larger exposure that might have to repress those records when new fans want to go back?
We've had to repress one of them, but it's weird because you would think that immediately when the artist does incredibly great, they started doing that. But the thing sometimes is that there are a lot of factors. For example, that artist, she has another label in the UK doing her stuff. So I only have permission to release her stuff in the whole continent of America, so I can't even ship it to Asia or whatever.
Yeah.
So it becomes a little weird. I was able to do it before, but for example, she just did a record with Bill Orcutt, which is one of my favorite guitar players of all time. Great beard as well.
Do you have agreements where you have like a license to repress records? Or you keep it totally chill?
No. Well, sometimes they do. For example, what happened was that all of a sudden she told me, well, I signed this and I forgot to put the agreement, and I had to talk with the guy about the agreement. So it was weird, but in a chill way. But they're very protective, of course. But because of that, what I mean is that she's from here, from this side of the pond. So her records currently are only being pressed in Europe, basically, and only what she brings back here or what stores in the US import from Europe, it's available from her. So that's I think that's weird. So I don't know, so stuff like that. So if you go to Discogs, for example, her debut record, if you see a copy in Europe, it's gonna be their version. If it's ours, it's gonna be here. But we released it like a year and a half before they did. So stuff like that,
Jose, I have a question. Because you're running a business, and I'm not going to sugarcoat it, but you have these two artists that go on to majors, right? One went to Warp and one went to Universal. When you're talking to a new artist that you're, for lack of better description, trying to recruit, do you say, hey, listen, like my portfolio of work shows that I'm going to do right by you? And then do you say like these two artists went on to these labels after me? Like, is that like something you pitch? No.
No, that I will feel like dog shit if I did that.
Okay,
I
would do that. I'm in sales though, so like.
No, I get that it's a great pitch, but that would be a great pitch for their managers, not for
their
them.
managers. Okay, not for them. Right. Okay, so if you were talking to the manager, that would be
I would.
Okay. I should have directed that better.
The only bad thing about my label is that I tend to just release whatever I like in general. So sometimes I have this experimental music, and then I have this side that I'm trying to release stuff from here. Like, for example, one of the next two records we're releasing, one is a compilation of electroacoustic music from Central America, the first of its kind, and then afterwards it's a folk record from like a pop folky artist that I like from here, from Mexico. So it has nothing to do with with musically, but I think that's good because I have two audiences basically. Right. The people from Latin America buying artists from Latin America, and the people outside three. The people only buy Merspo from me, and then the people that buy like stuff that I've released that are more complex, because again, I've released so many different types of stuff that it's a great pitch for the manager. But I think, look, if at the end of the day, most of the times, like I said, you send an email and you don't know what they're gonna say. So I try everything that I have ever done. I try to have the conversation with the artist. If they want to have if they tell me about the manager and everything like that, it gets weird. It tends to extend for weeks and weeks and months, and then suddenly it's been 2 years. There's one girl that I'm hopefully gonna release her record at the end of the year, that it's been 4 years since the first time that I sent her an email. 4 years. So stuff like that happens, but it's just it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. If the artists look at what I've released and they like what I've done, that's great. If they feel that it doesn't, if I feel that it has nothing to do with what I'm doing, I won't do it as well. Because there are genres that I love, right? I love a punk, but I don't feel like a poser if I release something that I don't know the whole scene of punk here in Mexico or whatever. So that's something that I'm slowly building. I do like free jazz, and we have 2 releases coming up this year, and so it's stuff like that because it goes into the experimental, I guess. But it's a great pitch for some people, but at the end of the day, if the communication between the artists, there are some artists that only want to be pressed on vinyl, don't talk to me more than that, and that's it, which is sad, but it does happen. But that's not the type of connection that I really want from the label.
So you're not offering 360 deals right now? What are you doing? Okay.
No,
so I have a question for both Joe and Jose, because this is a theme that I kind of see, and tell me if I'm completely off base, but I see this also with record store owners, where because this is all a thing, we're all passionate about what we're doing, and it's all built on passion, that we kind of shy away or embarrassed when we get too business-like about it. Like, we almost want to shun it and be like, fuck the business side and do it.
I love
Joel is
selling
projecting. Joel is projecting. Joel is projecting.
I hear what you're saying. No, I love selling records though. So I mean, going to 2 points that Jose made about doing right by the artist and getting, like doing the work for them to get them noticed, right?
Yeah.
That involves selling records, and so if I'm selling records, that means I'm doing my job. And the other thing is, I've been about straying away from genres that maybe you're really into. So what he described is like identical to what I've been going through. So the last couple of years, I've been doing a lot of American primitive work, but I also do heavy psych. And so people are like, "What's the label do?" And I'm like, "I don't know, shit I like."
Yeah,
I like all those.
That's what
I also like free jazz, and I put out some, free jazz and experimental. I love indie rock, but I don't put out indie rock because I feel like that's one channel I can't hit. I won't do right by the artist because I'm not going to be the people who follow me and buy from me, especially like that I really know well on like Bandcamp and stuff. And I'm assuming they wouldn't catch on to that, right? They wouldn't latch on to the indie rock stuff. So I don't want to do that because it's not going to do the band any favor if I put it out. So I have friends in town who are like, "Oh, it'd be great. Can we just put your like name on the record? Like put Carbon on the record, but we'll pay for it all." And I'm like, "Yeah, the name's not going to get you anything." Like they think there's more power than there is with just that name, right? Mm-hmm. It has to do with like what I'm putting out. And if it's outside of what I've been somewhat established doing over the years, it's not going to do well. And it's no favor to either of them, right? Because I'm going to sit there being bummed because I'm not selling the record and they're not, getting a record sold.
I would say that I actually do enjoy the business side a lot, because you have to do something that works for you. It doesn't make any sense at the beginning, but you sort of start building like what do you think makes sense. So like I said, right now I have a good rhythm where I know how many I can press. There are bands that how do you explain it? There's great music that sometimes it doesn't have to do with their music. The reason they're not going to sell more than this other band or this other project, but sometimes it's the first time they have ever released anything, physical. Mm-hmm. So it becomes this stuff like you have to do math in your head that it doesn't matter how good the music is. You can always repress You can always do all these other stuff, but you have to know what you're putting out. So sometimes I'm surprised. Like the last record we just released, I'm like 20 copies. We announced it on Friday. I only have like 20 copies left. So and I only did 200 because I thought it was not going to sell that well. I thought it was going to be slower.
But that's a good problem to have, right?
Yeah. But it's exactly. But I've also been in the other side where I pressed 300 copies of a record that I still have some copies of, So you have to do the math. There's a band from Guadalajara. They're called Polar Dream. They're really good. The cello player for Nirvana on the MTV Unplugged, she plays on that record. Lori Goldstein. She's around. She plays she's played with Earth and a bunch of bands. She's really great. But for some idea, I thought, well, if I press more than 100, it's not gonna sell well, and that's what I did, and it sold out like in 2-3 months. But I know that if I had 200 more of those copies, I would have them here at the house, So because it was the first time they ever released a vinyl record.
Do you think there's what do you think is the correlation between what sells and what doesn't? Do you think it has to do with touring
what I was going to say is, first of all, I think that bands have to educate sometimes their audience into how they support them, because right now most everything is digitally done. Oh yeah, the Stunty has a great interview with Lori. So there's a lot of bands that have some understanding with their audience, that they have, they have shirts and they've sold that out. But if there's a band that's new, even if it's great, sometimes that doesn't translate perfectly to selling records, because you have to test the waters, and sometimes that if the bands never put out anything physical, even if it's a CD, a T-shirt, a handmade cassette, whatever, the audience, if it's really big, they are not used to supporting you like that. So physical media doesn't really, it's not in their head, So it's like I even big labels like Sony or Warner, they probably had that happening when 6-7 years ago they started releasing all this back catalog that only got released on CD. They start because when we talk about CDs, sometimes people would say the minimum CD amounts you could do is 300, and then you would have a bunch of them in your house after months and months of having them. And the same happened with records. Sometimes when people will be like, oh, I'm going to press 500. It's a mixture between being Jewish and Latino, but I don't spend a dime if I don't have to, it's if I don't have to, I don't have to. So I try to, do less than when I have to. So if it does sell, I'm going to print more. But if it doesn't, I'm a little, communist when it comes with that. I treat every single band the same way, like even if they're more popular than the other ones, because sometimes even if they're more popular, it doesn't translate as well with that. Because from my experience, niche things do way better than mid-size and big-size artists.
Yeah,
Joe, you're agreeing with that. What is that? Why is that?
Yeah, that goes to my indie rock thing too. I think when you start hitting these niches, you have less competition, attention competition. Again, I kind of Jose was saying like, oh, you can do the math and stuff like that, and Joel asked like, what makes you know something's gonna sell or not, right? This goes back to, and not to bring up Record Store Day, but it goes back to your comments weeks ago about pre-Record Store Day, and you kept saying, only buy what you know you're going to sell. And in my head, I'm like, Joel, bullshit. you don't know what's going to sell, right? I mean, and then I saw your list and you ordered like 1 or 2 of each thing. And I'm like, all right, well, that's the safe way to do it, right? But you could have maybe sold 20 of, I don't know, not Zenigiva. I think you're still sitting on that one, but it's somewhat magic. Like it's gut, right? And it's there's multiple factors that go into whether a record will sell or not. It's the timing of when you put it out. It is if the person's put out stuff before or not, right? So how many people are following that person and not following like on Instagram, but like they know about them. I think oh shit, I had another topic, but touring is, I look at the people who I've been working with over the last like 5-10 years.
Yeah.
The person who has sold the most records toured the most.
That's what I'm saying. Like to me,
Liam Grant,
everything comes back to touring. You know,
I'm gonna give my props to Liam Grant. Liam Grant is a road dog, and he's done it in a way where he didn't burn himself out. And I told it because he's young; he's only like 25 now or 26. Yeah. And years ago, I met him, and he was like on the road all the time. I'm like, dude, careful, because I've seen a lot of people like that burn out, right?
Well, that's why you have to do it when you're young. When you're young, and
right.
and you know where you can sleep on couches and stuff like that.
But you can still get burned out doing that too. Like I won't name names, but there's some other folks in that scene that totally burn themselves out by doing it too much. And then like if you're into drinking, man, every night you're having a couple of beers, and that can get rough.
Well,
right?
A lot of that has to do with the venues, like paying you in drink tickets and shit like that. You know what I mean? So you're like, well, I'm going to get my money's worth, you know?
Right.
You know?
But like Liam is he's one of the few records I repressed because he toured nonstop. And then he got his next record, VHF, picked up. I don't know if you know the VHF label, great label out of Fairfax, Virginia, does a long running American Drone, and then Ask the Mother's Temple, like Heavy Psych, and they did Flying Saucer Attack back in the day and stuff. They picked up his next record, so we were like, and we were all sold out of the first Mayan. So he's like, "You want to repress it?" And we did it together, actually, me and him, because he runs kind of an imprint on the side. And I kept telling him like, "Well, you're always buying extra copies from me after like he went through." So my deal with artists sounds like it's the same Jose. They get paid in product, right? I give them a percentage of the pressing right up front, and that kind of incentivizes them to like, sell it so they can make their money. So if they need more, they can buy more from me at a very, basically a cost. So I told them like, why don't you just buy in it with me? Cause you're constantly needing more copies. And that's what he did. But getting back to one other point that Jose made, as far as like, you have a record, and now the person has a record on a bigger label, say Warp. I don't, mine's VHF, which is a label bigger than me, but not Warp, right? Not everyone does what we do, where we're like, hey, I like this record. I wonder what else they have. Like, not everyone looks back in the back catalog and buys their previous records. There is also that horrible stigma of like, well, that's old. I want their new thing. And that's a thing. Like, you look at sales when a record comes out, man, you really have to try to sell as many as you can early on, because the attention goes down. It's like this. Chris being in sales, he probably knows more about this than I do. But there's that long tail, right, where you'll get that bump and attention and stuff, and then if you don't keep up with it, and I'm still trying to figure that out. How do I keep up with like? God, I have this great record that didn't really sell well, and I try to push it, and it, sometimes gets traction, sometimes doesn't. That's the hard part. And I think Jose's probably, I'm assuming you're doing like promo the same I do, where you do it, right? Do you have a promo guy?
No, I don't have. I do everything.
Right.
These hands have made I don't know, 10,000 cassettes. Put every record on a box.
Yeah, did I?
When to buy the boxes, buy the Scotch tape, everything. I go every single day to the UPS, DHL, Mexican Post. But I would say that it's a lot. It takes a lot of your time. I'm always looking out to what I'm going to release. Sometimes there are stuff that you can't really, I'm guessing you have the same thing when you work with an artist, and when you work with experimental artists, the thing is that in 2 months they're gonna have a new record they want to put out, which is always interesting. It's always fun, but you have to be selective. You have to be enthusiastic, but at the same time, you have to be. I'm a little bit of what do you call that? Sometimes I rather look at the negative stuff than the good thing. But I think that the beauty sometimes with independent artists, at least with me, I don't have with modern artists, every single digital part, it's for them. So they keep going at if they want to sell more records, if they out, and I still have, we can do that, sell them a little bit or whatever. But I think that it is important to I have no problem with other labels existing around me. More power to it. But it's a weird era sometimes. It's I feel that there's a lot of great music that needs to be put out there, that has to come out. But I also feel that there's a lot of people trying to collect mostly out of nostalgia, which I guess sometimes it's nice, but giving the chance to stuff that you don't like, that's what I enjoy about record stores. And I think people should go to a record store and try to find something they've never heard and add it to the equation. I feel that's why it's like when you went to Blockbuster, right? Something drew you in, and people say, like, you don't have to judge a cover, a book by its cover, but I sort of think it's bullshit. You know what a prog record is gonna look like, what a fucking stoner record is gonna look like. You don't have to, so if something caught your eye, that's great. There are instances where the bands go out of their way to do something completely different, like, I don't know, like Death Heavens, that Pink record, or like Boris Pink record as well, stuff like that. Marisbo, the record that I put out, is pink, and we did the vinyl pink and stuff like that. But I think that it also has to do with people's curiosity. So that's why I think niche stuff do better, because people tend to attach to that small particle that they see that it's like rolling around on its own, and it becomes like, oh, why is this happening? And it becomes this thing that starts gravitating. When something's so big, people just tend to like, nah, I'm gonna buy that later on. That's what happens with artists. And with niche, they're like, oh my god, I can't believe I stumble on this. And at least with my side of the story is that I live in Latin America, so touring, you can do. There's like 4 or 5 cities in Mexico that you can tour, basically, like for real. And then in Latin America, there's like 4 other cities in the whole continent that you can do like a lot of touring on. Well, there's more, but like 4 or 5 main ones that you can do. So physical media helps out because you can have something to give instead of like waiting for an indie band to go to Brazil, just because you like it, So at least physical media gets you a little bit closer,
Have either one of you tried to work with a distributor to distribute your label stuff, so you're not doing it yourself?
Yeah.
And what was that experience like?
So I mean, in my experience, that was always the hardest thing. I could not break through, like, for years and years and years. I'm not going to name names, but there's a distributor in the US that should carry my stuff, but doesn't.
No, names.
And it's not just me, right?
Oh, it's probably the same store that doesn't carry me. So if you want to say it.
Yeah. And they have I know they have, I put out a record that had 3 people who worked there at the time on it, and they still wouldn't carry it.
Damn.
And I get it. Like they're trying to do, they're doing the niche thing. Then they want to be exclusive and they want to be mostly import. And so I get all that. They don't come out and tell you that, but I kind of understand that. So I got traction because of Liam Grant back in 2017 with Revolver, Midheaven Revolver on the West Coast. And that's the main distributor that I don't have an exclusive with them. But they're like my main distributor where every time I put something out, they order a chunk from me and they pay regularly. They have like, net 45 terms and, it's a weird timing and stuff. But basically like the middle of the month, as long as you hit some threshold that, I get a check in the mail. So I've been super happy with that. And then I do a lot of direct to stores or other mail order places, especially overseas. Which, like Jose was saying, is painful from a shipping standpoint, but we're all dealing with that. Like, so I've been doing a lot of importing of records for the mail order side of things that I do. And I get a lot of stuff from Europe and New Zealand because, I can get a box of say 30 records and it's going to cost me like say $70. But if you bought one record, it's going to cost you $28, $30 for one record. So if I get a bunch of them, I can set my unit costs and sell it for pretty much the same amount as what they're selling it for. But then the U.S. person's only going to spend, $7 for media rate or.
Well, when I see that, so you're not only a label, but you also distribute other stuff outside of your label. Yeah. And so. And it makes sense that you would do that. I've also thought about that for the record stores. Like it's something that I offered to Jose because I think it makes a lot of sense for record stores to also be they are because record stores really are distributors, right? In a roundabout way they are. So like it makes sense for record stores to also help labels, especially labels in other countries, distribute their stuff in the countries that they're in.
My buddy locally, I'm at his shop all the time. We're really close, but it drives me, and he knows he drives me nuts sometimes. But it drives me nuts because I'm like, you could be doing what I'm doing. Where it's like if you buy directly from a label, you're going to get the true wholesale cost, not the wholesale cost after it was marked up by a distributor for your store, right? So every time there's that markup, there's got to be, a percentage markup. And all those percentages are going to be different. But like you're going to get it cheaper. And then, you have a good store, a web store, so you can sell them online. He doesn't. Like, so he's not going to buy 30 records from a weird guy in New Zealand because in town, I'm the only one that's going to buy it. But I do that because I put them on Bandcamp, and then like within a day they're gone. And now I have thousands of people who follow me on Bandcamp and know the kind of stuff I'm going to get, and they follow me, and then it turns them onto the label. So I've always used it like that. Like it cross.
So it's kind of like a weird situation with the business, right? Because it makes the most sense for artists and labels to use a platform like Bandcamp to go directly to consumers, but it's a lot of overhead, right? Because now you have to buy all these shipping materials. You got to take care of all the orders. But there's not enough money in it necessarily to always go and use a bigger distributor like even a Midheaven or whatever. So it's just kind of weird situation. Jose, what do you got?
What I would say is, for example, I do have a distributor in the U.S. They just got in, what do you call that? They merged with Red Eye. I don't know if you're Red Eye.
Yeah.
Red Eye distributor, which is one of the biggest one or the biggest one in the U.S. Yeah. Secretly and Red Eye, I would say like the two biggest.
And Midheaven and Force.
Midheaven.
Oh, there's the other really big one too, UMI or something like that, or there's another really big one that.
But the only problem that I have with that is that, for example, with the stuff that I'm releasing, is that they don't pay you till like they pay me quarterly, right?
Yeah.
So that doesn't really work for me because the way that I've been working lately, I need to sell the stuff so I can print other stuff, because I live for this as well, and so the one store that I'm gonna say, because I'm not complaining, I'm just saying they haven't. I've been constantly since 2019 sending them every single one sheet that I have, which is a resume of the record, a little bit of info, bio, blah blah blah. You know, small one page. Sometimes it's two. Let's not bullshit about it. But you send that with the sole purpose of people getting as much information out of this that they are interested in ordering the records. But I've tried since 2019, and if for whatever they can hear me now, I still want to sell to them. But every single time I'm talking with them, they ask me, "Do you have this?" And I say yes to everything. They never reply to me, and then like 4 months go by, and I send them again, and I'm like, "Do you have this? Like, you have an address in the U.S.? Yeah, yes. Do you have somebody like a PayPal address from the U.S. that we can pay you? Yes. Can we pay you in checks? Yes." It's like, everything I said yes, even if it's not real, because I can figure it out. You know, if they need that shit, I'm gonna figure it out. But
what's the thing? What happens?
It's forced exposure. That's
okay.
Dude, all right. Listen, I'm gonna tell you, you've gotten fucking way farther than I have. All right, I'm gonna do it because who cares, right? So Jimmy, I mean, he's been running that thing forever. You know, started with an amazing zine and stuff like that.
Yes. I have some, yeah.
Out of all the time, I've had people who work there go, "Oh, he's gonna love this. Send him a copy," and you got to send him a copy, like a physical copy. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I don't want to, lose a record, right? And send $7 and media rate name. And I got an email back from him once, and he's like, "Wow, that's really cool. What other stuff do you have coming up?" And I gave him a list of what was coming up. Crickets.
I have to feel like it's a financial thing. It's not like a personal thing against
I mean, come on. Look at what forced exposure carries, right? It's an immense amount of stuff, and he has his hand on all of that. It's not like there's 12 buyers there.
But Joe, you said something that I think it's funny because I know that he gets a lot of imports, but I'm an import, and
right, I'm not, and I'm getting screwed. Being the white guy in America.
Yeah, but it's so weird that I've sent him so many emails, and he said the exact same thing. "Oh, I like this, blah, blah, blah." One time he did say, "Well, you only have 50 copies, and we want more." He wanted like 150, 200 copies.
Wow.
Because he wanted to distribute it. Yeah. And I literally said, again, because I was going to say yes to everything, I said, "I can print that shit immediately if you want to, but I want to sell it in forced exposure."
Yeah.
Didn't reply back. For every single Merzbow record that I've ever released, I sent him an email 3 months. Like when Masami says, yes, he can print it, I immediately, the first person that I think of is Jimmy. "Jimmy, I have this record, blah, blah, blah." Never replies. And then the last one we did, he was like, "Oh, do you still have copies?" And I was like, "That's 2 months ago that I sent you an email. I don't have any."
I sold out. I sold out.
Give me this guy's contact information. Give me his email.
No, but
Chris, I have an account with him. I talked to him, so
he's a nice guy.
I ordered distro from him.
And I buy from him. Yes, I buy from him.
Wait, you're a customer, Joe?
Stop buying from him. Stop buying from him.
I have a distro account there.
So there's stuff I want to distro that I know there's some people who follow me who might not order from Force, So I'm like, So I get there's a new Trodgrass Oaksnar reissue coming out. I'm like, there's people that follow me that are going to buy that. So
here's the thing, though. He probably has a system, and he probably knows what works. And there's
I don't even think it's that. It's because sometimes there's a lot of this label called Gerson. You know that label?
Yeah. Garrison,
Garrison, right? Yeah. It's from they're Catalonia. They're from this shit, right?
That farm record.
Farm record. Yeah, Garrison, right? Yeah, there you go.
Yep.
So I've talked with this guy, the guy from Gerson, and because I was really close to getting a site record from El Salvador, getting reprint. The guy is an asshole. Not this guy. The guy from the band is an asshole. He basically said, if we don't print out 20,000 not 2,000, 20,000 of the records we can do it. If we do less than that, and I say, bitch, the original run was 500 records. Fuck you. The fuck you talking to me about that? So, anyways,
so when they pay you
record store day numbers, baby.
When they pay you quarterly, are they just paying you what's sold, or are they paying you the entire amount?
That's
it's like it's they're getting their cake and they're eating it too. They get to carry the stuff, sell it, and only pay you for what sells. So what happens if they have remaining stock that doesn't sell?
They tell you about it.
At some point, you know, but like I haven't had a.
They return it to you? Is it one way?
Well,
I haven't gotten.
They put it on. They put it on Discogs when the demand goes up.
Yeah, I mean, I've had them reorder stuff. You know, like certain things I'll send them, and then within a couple days, you know, their emails go out. They Midheaven sends out emails like once or twice a week at least, right? And then all of a sudden I'll get another email and say, "Oh, we need more." And the thing wasn't, you know, the first box wasn't even there yet, because he's dealing.
They never have.
He's not buying, you know, hundreds and hundreds from me. Yeah,
it's just
they never have enough of the stuff that I want. Like there's a label. I think they're out of Spain. I forget where they're at, but it's a little murky where this label's from that I like.
Sure.
And Midheaven never gets enough of them. And I order this shit from him, and he's like, "You're like the only one who's ordering this stuff in the quantities you are."
But it's the same thing as us pressing records and knowing how it's going to sell. And it's for me, when I'm ordering stuff to carry mail order, I get it wrong all the time. I'll be like, "Oh, give me 10 copies," and I'll get 10 copies in it, post to Bandcamp, and it'll sell within like 10 minutes. I'm like, fuck.
Yeah.
So, but then other times I'm like, give me 30 copies, and then it sits for like a year, you know? And it's like the same kind of stuff, you know, it's both like, you know, free noise.
Yeah, it's a toss up. What I would say is that for me, consignment doesn't work because also, most of the times my biggest problem is not really the financial, like you'll see your money's worth in 6 months, in a year, because that's scary, because I know that I could probably move the copies way faster. You know, but my biggest problem sometimes is consignment. The idea that somebody wants, for example, right now there's a store that wants 30 copies of the record that I'm putting out, right? 30 copies. For me, it's a lot in the sense that for consignment, that means that doing the numbers for that record, I'm gonna get 20 copies free. Like everything else is sold out. I only have 20 copies left, and so giving away 30 copies on consignment to a store, it's a big it's not financially. It's not financially.
Yeah, consignment's bullshit, because the problem is you give them 30 copies, they're not motivated necessarily to sell those 30 copies.
No.
If they bought those 30 copies, then they'd be like, we got to sell those 30 copies.
And also,
there's no leverage.
I've told, you know, I had all these, you know, we have a good deal of record stores in Rochester, and years and years ago, you know, it was consignment, and they give you this little bullshit slip, and then they wouldn't pay attention to it, and I wouldn't pay attention to it, and I'd forget about it. You know, and they were like a couple copies each. But after a while, that adds up. And then at some point, one of the guys, I'll say Tom from the Bop Shop, surprisingly was like, dude, can I just pay you for these? Because I hate keeping track of the shit. I'm like, yeah.
That'd be
awesome. Then I told everybody else in town, you know, so-and-so paid me up front for these. And everybody else does. Like all the stores that order from me direct online. And when I'm ordering from labels, I pay them up front, you know, and that gives me the motivation to sell that stuff, and that should give them the motivation to push it.
Unless you're going to be in the store, they're going to give you priority placement in their shop, and you're going to go in there and check on it. You can't rely on consignment.
And I get distributors, like I get having to do a net thing because they're dealing with a large volume of money in and out. So I get that.
I will say that sometimes it's surprising. For example, last time that I was in Austin, I went to Antoine's, right? And Antoine's, and I thought it was super funny that I left copies of stuff there in 2018 or 2019, and I hadn't gone back because of the pandemic and stuff. I hadn't gone to Austin back. So when I was there, I'm like, hey, do you remember me? And they were like, yes. we sold out everything you brought. And I was like, great. And then they paid me. And I was like, I had money to spend, right?
No one else was going to figure that one out except for you.
But yeah, exactly. But what I'm saying is like, I don't think they didn't want to pay me. I'm just saying like sometimes it's surprising because some stores have so many stuff going on that consignment means that you have to be fishing for your money every few months, and it feels weird. And also some stores, I'm not gonna name, but they want you to send the stuff, and only when it arrives, they pay you, which is fine. But my only problem that I had last time that I did that was somebody wanted 20 copies of a record that production was, I think, almost 20 copies below what I ordered, and they got 20 copies and they arrived damaged on the jackets.
Oh,
you know what happened? I asked the pressing plant if I can have more jackets, and they said, I'm going to send you 10 copies. So I said, well, you know what? I have 10 personal copies. I'm going to take them all out and I'm going to send them to them. I'm going to have bump corners. Doesn't matter. So it took them like 3 months to send me the next title that I was doing. And when I reached out to them, they said, oh, we had to get rid of those records because it had been there too long. So those 20 copies, they don't exist anymore. They throw them out of the trash. So that was really bizarre and weird. They didn't want to pay me anything. They were like, it's your fault, basically. They could have even said like, hey, you want to sell these at discount,
Yeah.
But nothing. They just tossed them out into the trash.
That's ridiculous.
So and that was the last straw for me. What?
They just didn't want to deal with it.
No, but that was the last straw for me because I was like, you know what? I can't be shipping international. Yes, it takes time, whatever, but they don't want you to pay for the shipping. International shipping, may I add. They don't want to pay for international shipping. They want the shit to be there next day.
Well, Jose, here's the thing, though. Here's the thing, and I don't know what your relations are with everybody else, but with me, like you went around the mulberry bush about the shipping. You should have just said, "Buy me a label," and it's like, no problem. I do that.
Well, I didn't. Well, first of all, nobody does that. Everyone
does that.
No, that's not true. I've been doing
prepaid label.
I bought a prepaid label for Jose to ship the stuff to.
Yes, but I hadn't asked because I hadn't done that before. Normally, there's only a few stores that send me labels, but stores, no. That you are the first one internationally that's done that. I since then one other store in the UK did that.
Wait, so wait, you're saying most stores and stuff that are buying product from you won't pay the shipping?
No, they don't want to.
Fuck that. No, everybody who orders from me pays the shipping.
That's what I'm saying, Jose. Like, you have to tell stores, like, if a store wants to carry your stuff, you have to tell the stores, this is what you have to do in order to carry my stuff.
I pay the shipping on every order I get in, right? So if I order from a label in Belgium, I pay the shipping. And then I just, I have to bake that into the price.
You see the difference is that you have the upper hand because
you're the buyer.
Contact them. Yes,
I know, but when I'm the seller, it's the same thing.
Right.
So
I get it.
The store in Sweden, when they're buying carbon releases from me, they pay the shipping.
No, and I get it. With European distributors, they always give me labels, and I'm really grateful. I pack everything up and I ship them out immediately. Okay. But for stores in the US, there's a bunch of them that buy a lot from me, even in Canada. They buy a lot from me, but they want everything shipped out, and once it arrives, they're going to pay me.
Are these big stores?
Yes, somewhat.
How's it working with Ergot Records? They're buying your stuff directly, right?
With Ergot, he's very patient. So I've been sending some stuff to my friend in Tijuana, and then he moves them inside.
See that, Jose? That's bullshit. You got to stop that shit.
Well, I know you live in a very alternative world to mine.
That's just called a hustle, Joel. Come on.
No, wait.
I have Canadian. I have Canadian.
Do what you got to do.
do the
no.
thing
First of all, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. First of all, the new rule between that your president, that orange dumb piece of shit.
Then how can I make the fuck up? I made the label. I made the label.
Yes, great. But you asked me a question, I'm going to reply to it. So right now, under your administration, from Mexico, I can't ship anything up to 5 items per package. I can't. In normal mail. In normal mail. Nobody wants to buy the minimum of FedEx, UPS, and DHL is $65 per label to the United States. Most stores don't buy from me more than 5 copies. Right, so they're not going to pay $65 per one shipping of that. Even if there's 15 records, they don't want to do that. So every single time before, I used to send them in normal regular mail, and it used to cost like 400 pesos, so like $20 international shipping with tracking. It would take between a month and a month and a half, 2 months. I don't know, whatever it would take, but they would know about it, and that would be okay. Right now, with things are going, I can't ship over 5 items. It doesn't matter if it's 5 wallets, if it's 5 dices, it doesn't matter if it's whatever, 5 shirts. They don't let me send anything above 5.
Under the static ATX administration, this shit needs to change. So no, I have the same thing. So when I'm ordering from Europe, I usually ask them like, hey, what makes the most sense? Like, how many things can you? So for there, it's they're not limited by number of items. Yeah, they're not limited number of items. Yeah, and they're really good. Like some of the people I'm working with over there are really good, and they know what they're doing. So I'll be like, well, is there any shipping difference between 15 and 20 records? And they're like, no. I'm like, cool, send me 20.
Yes, exactly. That's
right, because they can fit that many in a box, and the UPS or DHL or whatever they use, or BP Post or something. The price is the same. Yeah, I haven't dealt with any labels in Mexico, so I didn't know about the number limit, the quantity limit. That fucking sucks.
People are going to start tuning out if we start talking about shipping costs. But I have 2 questions for you guys.
Well, this is like the major challenge.
I like the shipping episode.
I know, I get it. I totally get it.
This is a major challenge in 2020.
But huge. My question to you guys is, if you when you guys deal with the different places, whether they're stores or distributors or whatever, and they start talking about consignment, and this person wants to do it this way and another person does it that way, do you relent because you feel like you need to, or do you feel like you guys could start be more standard of being like, this is the way it has to be, like no more consignment? Like, would you be okay selling less if it meant no more consignment?
I mean, I don't do consignment except for, of course, a distributor. You can count.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, don't send them to FE because that's a consignment thing. Or would you press more to be like, okay, I only want 250, but I'm gonna press 300 or 350 because I'm gonna send 100 to FE, and then keep 250 for my regular business operations. It's just something like that.
I mean, I would only like if my distributor was like, we're definitely gonna want X number beforehand. Like I'm always late, right? Some of the distributors, like, to deal with some of the distributors, they want your schedule for like the next 12 months. I don't have that shit, right? Yeah. I'm like, how much money did I get from sales yesterday? Cool, I can push this thing to the pressing plant now. Yeah, right. That kind of schedule, right? So I can't tell them. So and that's why I always had a problem with getting into certain distributors, because they wanted these long schedules, and I'm like, I can't tell you that. So Revolver doesn't do that. I could reach out to them and say, hey, I got this thing, and it landed in the States, or it's at my doorstep, right? How many do you want? If they were like, oh, we're gonna want 150 of those, then I'd be like, all right, cool. I guess I'll press a few more. But I wouldn't. I don't think I'd like. One, you have no power against a distro. Like people like me and Jose. Like we'd be like, we're not gonna do net 45. They'd be like, cool, fuck off.
So this is going to be where I was going to go with this. Before the stream, I would like both of you to give me to talk a little bit about what are like one or two of your top changes you would like to see with the way distribution or anything to do with labels happen, like whatever's going on that you'd like to see change?
Well, I would say quickly that I understand the fact that distributors are not going to pay up front for records, mostly because they could get scammed, like a label saying like, "Oh, I have these records," and they never arrive. That shit happens, and I get it. But my problem, again, when I ship to my distributor in the US, right now I can't, because I would have I would have to pay $200 to ship out 50 records, and I'm not going to do that. So what I've been doing, which is not bullshit at all, is I have a friend in California that has a sister-in-law
again,
and sister-in-law. Well, that's what I can do right now, Joel.
It's called a logistics company.
Like you're a first world problem here.
Yeah,
you have different shit going on than
I just wanted the records. I just wanted the merge.
No, but Joel, this isn't unique to the record business. This is that there's brokerage businesses all over the world, multi-billion-dollar businesses that handle
if you have it easy and you can laugh about it yourself, congratulations. I can't. I have a business to run, and the only way that I can ship out records to people that want it in the United States, it's by doing this. Or I could grab my car and every month go to the US, because I live 3 hours away from the border, and I could do that. But I don't want to fucking do that, Joel. So what I can do right now is that I have a friend that I can send the records there.
Can you imagine Joel at the border? Jose,
I can meet you in
box
Brownsville
over the wall.
I mean, Jose, you probably can't always cross the border with that product too, right? They're going to be like, hey,
we have stuff like they tell us like, no, you can't bring this over.
Yeah, because we have it. I'm an hour away from Canada, so we have the same thing when we're going across the border.
I have a mule that can.
Oh my gosh!
I don't have a mule. I
smuggle over
legitimately cross everything, but the difference is we have to have a paper that tells how much it is and bring it in. Because I can do that, but I can't ship them by mail to the United States.
This is why, Joel, this is not a unique problem. This is why if you order from Europe, it goes into JFK in New York, and then USPS picks it up. Like this
goes through ISC over in in New York.
Exactly.
I got a package sitting down there right now.
You think it's funny? I'm doing way more stuff than most labels in Latin America that they can't ship into the United States.
I know.
Dude,
I know.
Listen, when the tariffs when the tariffs hit, when Trump went nuts and imposed these huge tariffs and said the de minimis clause is gone, all the European postal services said we're not shipping to the U.S. because they didn't want to get nailed with, even though there's a carve out in the import customs fee for information materials, which covers magazines, books, and records and tapes, right? That wasn't supposed to be part of the tariffs. But all the European postal companies are like, they're going to get fined if something goes through and it gets flagged, right? So Discreet Music, which I order a ton of stuff from Gothenburg, Sweden, they run a label in a store, right? I order all the time from them. I was talking to them the Saturday that hit, all of their U.S. sales stopped.
Yeah.
Because they could not send one record to the U.S. because that went through normal postal, and you can't send one record with UPS because it would have been fucking $60, right? So that's when I was like, dude, I'll order more for you. So I became the mule, right? I became Art Vandelay, the importer of matchsticks and diapers and potato chips.
Import and exports. But I would say that, since September up to like 2 months ago, we couldn't ship anything directly to the U.S. So when Joel was bitching about it, what happened was that I couldn't physically ship anything to the United States.
But somehow you did when I made you a label. Somehow, magically.
Yeah, but that was a new thing. Before that, Joel, you have Google, you have internet. You can go to the internet and look out what the fuck happened, because there was a period of time that nobody could ship anything into the United States from Mexico.
But somehow I printed a label and
wait, hold on.
I think
like when I used to bartend, we're not going to solve domestic disputes here. We're just
Chris, wait.
Come on.
I think you have a lot of earwax on your ears. I'll say it again. There was a period of time we couldn't do anything about it up to a few months ago.
Okay.
When you made the label, that was the first time that I've heard that we could do it again. Do you understand that?
Yeah.
And listen, Jose, what I want you to understand is that the U.S. appreciated the Mersby record. I sold them out almost instantly. We were desperately waiting for it.
Drop the fucking subject already. I was doing everything I could to get the records into the U.S. to have them shipped to you.
I know.
You know what happened was that you made the label and I sent you some stuff. You know what happened was that I had already sent stuff to my friend, and now some of that stuff is stuck there in California.
I'll buy it too. I'll buy that too.
No, I don't want you to buy them. I just want you to forget the subject.
So I have.
What do you mean you don't want me to buy them? If there's more stuff in California,
Carbon Joe's coming in. Carbon Joe's coming in.
This is it, baby. About it
I'll be your main contact. I'll be your main contact. I'll be your main importer, and then I'll just sell them to Joel for 50% markup.
No.
Somebody posted about DHL being bullshit about charging tariffs. UPS is doing this right now too. I keep getting
FedEx where I'm getting them.
Yeah, they're all doing it.
Yeah.
I know I know I won't name who because I don't want to get in trouble. But I have friends who work at local places, and they're like, "Yeah, my boss just said to ignore that shit."
I'm not paying them.
But they're bigger place. Mine, the UPS ones come through, and it's like it's all on my account, and I'm like, fuck.
Because you have a UPS account.
I don't want my
UPS wouldn't deliver. They wouldn't deliver to me. I ordered a record from Europe, a box set. They wouldn't deliver it to me until I paid.
Yeah.
They held the shipment.
Yeah, and I was afraid that was going to happen, so I was like, it's usually like $20, and I'm like, oh fuck it, it's another pain tax.
I have 5 test pressings sitting up in somewhere in the U.S. because UPS hasn't. The tariff was paid. Yeah. And I still haven't. Well, the pressing plant paid for it. I didn't have to pay it because they forgot some documentation, but they still haven't given to me.
Yeah, Jose, where do you press normally to get into the
Czech Republic?
So you go to the GZ? Do you go direct?
This is what I want to get into.
You go through a broker.
No,
and is Wolfman waiting to go online right now?
I go through a broker.
No. Okay. He's off that.
I go through a broker that I've been working since I started, and they're really nice. They make me pay for the records till they are ready to ship, which is really nice.
Is it A to Z?
No.
In New York? No. Oh,
no. Okay. But they're really nice people.
That's good. Yeah.
They're really nice people. And what I was gonna say is that I hadn't had any real problems with that, but just now I had a problem where I got some test pressing sent and they wouldn't free the shipment till it was paid, and now it's been paid.
Yeah.
And it's been like a month and they haven't moved it yet.
Oh.
So
wait, is that UPS or is that your broker?
UPS.
Not doing it?
No, it's just UPS. They haven't delivered it.
Yeah. No, I have this package that hasn't been scanned since April 15th, coming from Belgium, and it's driving nuts. But Chris,
so this for those that watch a lot of our stuff, like I am extremely frustrated.
Wait, Chris, can you ask the motherfucker to stop fuking? I don't know why he's laughing. Why the fuck is he laughing? I already
too many gummies again.
I came here.
Listen,
to be chill.
Don't make me throw the both of you out. I'll throw the both. Not, anyway, listen. So listen, one of my gripes, I want to know how you guys handle this. One of my gripes over the past 3 years or so is the quality control on new album presses. Mass distributed indie stuff, like I'm just getting warps, non-fill. I mean, I buy a lot of new records, so I guess
non-fill. What is that?
Like how do you describe it? Like basically crackling or no sound. Like it was a pressing defect, right? So
what, in the song?
On the record itself.
On the record.
Oh, okay. Oh, I thought you meant the quiet part's not quiet enough or something like that.
No. That's like if you look deep at the record, there's like a white thing.
Like a white streak.
Not
in
cocaine.
It almost.
Oh, what the hell is that? Yeah, I don't know. I haven't had problems with that. Yeah, go on.
Which is good. So my thing is like, and we've kicked this subject around a lot, especially Joel and I, but I know you get the test pressings, but then how do you guys handle if a customer gets a record that's like, I can't play this thing's a bowl? Like, is that come back on you guys as the label? Do you
I mean, normally, but I can count on one hand over 32 years how many people have returned a record saying, hey, this record's warped or something. Sometimes before I was using Mighty Mailers, which, Bags Unlimited, I don't know if you know, Joel, they're like 2 miles from my house. So I go down and I pick up massive amounts from them.
God dang it, dude. You're so lucky, dude. Whiplash is up there in Michigan, and you're
I've never used Whiplash funds, but anyway, like back in the day before I knew any better, when I first started doing vinyl again after the CDR kind of craze, I was using just the normal square mailers, and I was, corners are getting dinged, and people be like, hey, the corner's dinged. I'm like, yeah, so what? Because I didn't know any better, right? Like, I have records, but I don't care that they're dinged like that. But yeah, really, it's been probably 5 things that have gotten returned, and I'm like, all right, cool, I'll send you another one. I had similar to what Jose was talking about, like I had a project come in from overseas, it got pressed in GZ and stuff like that, and it showed up, and like 30, I think I might have pressed 500 of that one. Like 30 or 40 copies were like top seam splits, and it was a black cover. So it's like they show up. They're horrible looking, and that's the kind of thing that now, of course, annoys me. And GZ doesn't do 500 is like the minimum of jackets that you get pressed. So if you're going to press like 200 records, whoever's doing the jackets are going to make 500, and they're going to sit somewhere because it doesn't make sense for a printer to make less than 500. The setup is a pain in the ass and stuff. So when I did that, and I'm like, hey, can I get extra jackets? And they're like, we don't have any extra jackets. I'm like, crap. But they compensated me for that. Like they gave me a balance on my account with them. So I was able to put it towards another release. With like, I use Got a Groove in Cleveland, which, is like 4 hours away. So a lot of times I'll just drive out there and pick them up and then record shop and eat and stuff. They always have their printer prints a little extra as well, so usually I can get extra, or they'll just give me the extra jackets. But
that was my follow up to that. Like, so it sounds like you use GZ and Got a Groove. Do you try to stick with the same plant? Like, do you have a preferable plant?
They're both of those places. The only problem I've ever had with the A to Z GZ thing is those split covers, and they handled it perfectly. Got a Groove in Cleveland, I've had just amazing experience with them over the years. Like I've had friends who didn't, some things went awry or something like that, but it was usually just like some communication mishap. The plant manager there, like he emails me like we're talking on the phone, I'll send him an email, and like 2 minutes later I'll get a response back. And I've been using them since they opened, basically.
So a lot of these Euro labels, always have the record outside of the sleeve, like and they don't even shrink wrap them. They're just like in a loose sleeve. Why? It would seem crazy to me that you as a label, you order 500 records or whatever from GZ, and you're getting seam splits. Why not just have them ship them outside the label, not shrink wrapped?
That's a good question.
It's how they want to do it. I think that's how they choose to ship them. That's how all the records I ordered came.
It's just an industrial process for them. It costs more to switch it.
It's a handling thing.
Right.
So do different pressing plants do it? Like if they do it differently, why not just use a pressing? Because clearly there are some pressing plants that do that, right?
Yeah,
all these European labels I order
GZ's like the biggest plant in the world, I think, right now. They want to, and then with A to Z's projects through them, they want to keep as much as possible the same, and you get that economy of like, everything's the same. We don't have to worry about like, oh, this one's like this and this one's like that, and that one's like that, right? So, and I like shrink wrap records because it makes handling on my end easier. I have some customers who, when they place an order, they say, hey, can you pull the record out of the sleeve? And I'm like, yeah, totally. So I just slice it open and then, take the record out. But for the most part, I kind of like shrink wrap records. I have other friends who run labels and they fucking hate them. Some labels think that the shrink wrap sometimes too tight and it warps the jacket. Which
at the plants I use, you could have it requested to ship completely separately. So you get a box of sleeves and a box of just
John,
records.
who did you use, by the way?
Burlington Vinyl in Albany.
Yeah, but they're in Albany now.
They were great.
I've been thinking about using them coming up, but
really good.
I've actually never, besides the Wax Mage Mersbo record we did, I've never pressed anything in the US because most of the times they're way more expensive to press than overseas. Even with shipping included and everything. Even when shipping from Europe, it's normally like
Jose,
up to $1,000.
So Jose, you're comparing like the US plants to GC specifically?
Yes, specifically.
Yeah, so the big deal, the big change, the difference between that, if you ever look at the breakdowns, is the plating part of it. So GC does direct metal,
which is
and you look at the price of that compared to normal lacquering and plating, and it's hundreds and hundreds of dollars difference.
Yes, but to be honest, every time that I've quoted in the United States, I don't know, man. Like, it doesn't make any financial sense unless, like, to press 300 copies, unless I would be like the direct band selling my own stuff, which is a record we're pressing. But I think quality control, as far as with me, since I press like 300 copies, which it sounds like you do as well, I rarely, if ever, have any problem with the pressing plant.
I was going to say that it seems like the lower quantities are always great. It's the mass produced ones.
They're really, at least because I always hear people saying shit about GSET, but the vinyl quality, as far as I've gotten so far, it's really quiet vinyl.
Yeah, your releases are quiet.
Vinyl. Yeah. So because for example, there was a record we released by Steve Roden, which minimalist. They asked me if the vinyl record is noisy at all, we're going to ask you to not press it. So I was so confident that I just ordered it, and it came out really good. But so it is stuff like that I'm really happy about, because I think there are labels in the US that I like that have the worst. I don't know where they press, but the quality of it's really bad. One of my favorite labels from the US, Polyvinyl.
Indie rock. They're an indie rock label. Yeah.
Yes, their vinyl is really noisy. Really noisy. I would say that, and
even now, like
yes,
I can't remember the last time I heard a record on that label.
Well, I'm a big Shushu.
Deerhoof Records.
Jesus, Deerhoof annoys me. Shushu, Shushu played a record store in town.
My heart, Joe, you broke it.
I'm probably 6 times. I love doing it. Probably 6 times they played this record store. They became really good friends with my buddy who owned an old store. And they would play his back room, to 20 of us.
But I don't know. We were talking about the American football stuff that. I've been buying from them all my life, basically, even without me knowing it. But Quiero Bonito and shit like that.
Well, Jose, I wanted to ask you, what's working for you right now, though? So you're pretty much primarily using wholesale to Sound Dome as that's like a big piece of what you're doing, because you can't ship to the US. You're really relying on being wholesale.
Well, right now in Europe, I have there's a guy that's called Out of Print in Belgium that buys from me. There's Sound Dome. There's Norman Records in the UK. Recently, I've been selling to All Night Flight. You probably
that's a good story.
Yeah. So I sell between them, and there's a guy from Japan that's buying copies from me. Which with that, and for example, here in Mexico right now, I have about 10 record stores that buy at least 5 copies from me. So with all of that, I have more than 50% of the copies sold, which makes up for like keeping some records for me, keeping records for stores in the US. Because I'll say this, Joe, Dom, I think you'll be surprised at how much some stores buy a specific title, but even if something is remotely similar to something you already sold them, they don't want it. So they're really picky. But there are other stores and other distributors that do work more because All Night Flight, they're also distributors. So so stuff like that, you know.
I mean, it's one
Rolando
thing.
Chia record that's coming out. Everybody should check out. By the way, I just linked to it. I pre-ordered a copy with Sound Dome. I would love the archival release that I think Joel you still have, or not archival release, the dead stock of.
I sold them all.
You sold them all.
Jose sent me a couple more, but I sold them all already.
Well, the new release that's coming out on Jose's label that Sound Dome has, and I think Aurora or Endor's.
Yeah, I know. It's
asking,
like Sound Dome has no problem getting them, but Static ATX, like fuck that guy, he can't get.
I was trying to order that.
Jose.
I had that in my shopping cart on the Static ATX site for a couple days, and then I fucking
we were talking about that.
Yeah. And I was wondering if Jose was the one that, because you found a dead stock of that or something, right?
Yes. I went to Mexico City to present a record last year to a university, and while I was there, I came in contact with the guy that originally put it out, and he's a very nice guy. He had one of the first, if not the first ever, DIY independent label for Mexico in the 80s. Wow. And he was telling me how he had a horrible tragedy in his family, and somebody in Europe tried to have him as a musician play on a compilation, and he couldn't believe it, and he started saying like, well, maybe I can help out some friends here, and he started releasing records, but they didn't sold because every store was selling, what the equivalent to like Sinatra and I don't know, Glenn Campbell type shit was happening in here in Mexico. So it was really hard for him to sell them. So he had more than 150 copies still sitting. And the reason that I came about them was because So he told me when I met him, he said, hey, do you have copies of the records? And I said, I do, but they're not in good condition. Do you have any more? And he said, yeah, how many do you want? And I said, can I have 5 copies and I'll buy you 5 copies? And he said, oh yeah, I'll give you 10 if you want. So when I met him, I was like, hey, do you have more copies? Like, why will you give me 10 copies of this? And so it appears that he had way more, and I helped him sell that stock. That's awesome. But yes, Joel, I don't have any problem selling to Europe because that's another region.
Well, listen, everybody in the U.S.
work, right? Geography, fuck that, right?
Everyone in U.S. vote against the Republicans for the simple fact I need to get these records.
What does Joel? Stop.
I just want to get the records. If that's what I got to do.
Question for our panelists,
this is why
Joe
Joel's
and Jose.
Against Trump.
Jeez,
Joel, it's very funny to me how you're the only guy having fun with that, and you don't see how dumb you look, but that's fine.
No.
All right.
Hey, stop. Okay,
we got peace in the VC.
Okay, I'm done sharing Jose's records. I'm done.
Questions for Joe and Jose. Let's start with Concert Buddy. Are you guys adding the releases to Discogs personally? You do now.
Yeah, when I remember.
Good question.
But I have other friends, like my buddy Rob, who has introduced me to a bunch of people that I work with, guitar players and stuff like that. He loves doing that shit. So he usually beats me to it. Like he'll have my test pressings in there too.
They just get off on entering the
he likes doing it. Yeah.
I have that on vinyl. I put it on Discogs first.
And I do. Yeah, I put them up for sale there too. So I usually have copies up there, and Bandcamp in my own site.
Is anyone doing this? Drop shipping?
I can already tell you that Jose doesn't add his because I had to add some of them. because they weren't on there.
Joel, let's have peace in the VC.
Well, I normally do, but yeah, sometimes I don't. It's super. It's really nice to see other people do it. It makes part of the community. The only problem that I had the other day was with those dead stock was that I sold it to a store, specifically a store in Mexico City, and they put it up on Discogs as if it was a repress. And then I got scared because I thought, fuck, if he's gonna the guy that I'm selling the record for, he's gonna think I'm doing fucking bootlegs or something. So and it's really not easy to it's harder than you think to bring down something from Discogs. Some people have to vote. It's the whole thing. Yeah. It's not like delete this. This is like wrong. Or like merge it. It doesn't work that well.
Their UI and UX is something to be desired. But this question, I've never done anything like this. This dropship stuff.
Do plants offer that as a service?
I've never heard of it. Maybe. I mean, there's I know
maybe the majors do that, but
I don't think they're talking about shipping to customers. I think they're talking about shipping to you.
What?
No, well, they're talking about inventory.
Handle inventory and shipping. So that, I'm assuming
maybe to wholesalers, but
they hold on to it and then they ship out. Yeah, I mean, you can have a pressing plant send to other people to drop ship. So I've done that, like where I do co-releases a lot with like Feeding Tube and stuff and some overseas labels. And so sometimes I'll have the pressing plant do that, but other times when I get the shipping quote from them, it's higher than I think it should be, and then I just have them send it all to me, and then I handle it.
Okay.
As long as the stuff's like already like triple boxed, then I don't have to like box it again, which is a pain in the ass.
Joel, do you want to tackle Stevie's serious question here? Want to tackle it?
Yeah, everything you've seen, rising costs. Oh yeah, well, I mean, I already said. I mean, the USPS raised their, implemented that surcharge. It does, and like Alan said, it doesn't affect media mail, but I don't know about distributors. Though.
Well, the manufacturing is the part that I was worried about. Like when that happened, because oil production is going down, and certain oil is coming through there, and records are oil. We don't think of it, but they are. So I was like, fuck, how long is that lead time going to happen where the pressing plants are going to start raising prices? Because it
hasn't happened yet.
No, it hasn't. No,
but it has. But it will. But it will. It happened. Yeah. I don't know if you remember, but during the pandemic, also the cost of oil went up, and it happened a little bit with.
I mean, that was a whole other. You were talking about the difficulties now with the tariff shit and stuff like that. But man, compared to COVID, the pressing plant, I don't know if you guys know, but the pressing plant turnarounds right now are like they were about 20 years ago. They're like 2 to 3 months ish, right? During COVID, they were 10, 12, or 14 months.
Yes.
So at that point, I was like, I'm not pressing vinyl because for me and Jose to submit an order, for the most part, most plants want 50% up front. So 50% deposit to start the project. And then you do not have that record for a year until you can start selling it and make money. Right. So I was like, I switched to doing some CDs and cassettes during that time.
CDs are back.
Oh, Joe, you know what I wanted to ask you, and I don't, this is going to come out the wrong way. I don't know if it impacts you and Jose as much as it would impact a major, but do the pressing plants have like an NDA with you guys so the information doesn't leak? Like, how do you handle the confidentiality of pressings? Like, if you don't, like, let's say you got some super exclusive
leaking
leaking the title that's coming out, like, or do you announce it such far in advance that it doesn't matter? Like,
I don't announce far in advance at all. I used to talk about shit way too much, and then I think people got bored of hearing about it, and then when it would come out, and they were like, whatever.
It's a combination. I do talk with the people that buy with me, like for example, Soundom. I always tell them what I have because again, not every title I offer it to them because some stuff it's like the last title we did with psych rock. They don't really do that, you know. Yeah. So I was not even going to mention it to him, but because there was this month, right? These months of not presenting anything to them, I tell them, hey, in a month or so, I'm gonna tell you about this. Some stores won't like that because they're like, why the fuck are you telling me all this? But for them, it's nice because they're like, I am interested, let me know about that. If not, I'm gonna be like, because it's happened before where they're like, well, you know, for example, for the rocks things, they were like, well, you know, we might have it, but it's not really for us, you know. Gotcha. So that's why that sort of thing happens, you know.
This question down below is a good one, I think, to hit on. So I've been asked by I have a couple friends in town that teach at colleges and music stuff or entrepreneurial stuff, and they're like, do you want to come in and talk about carbon? I'm like, really? Like, you want to? But I just recently did one, and I talk a lot about that, about unit, because it was a business class. They wanted to talk about like how you manufacture. So just to give you an idea, the difference between pressing 300 and 500 records is about $80 at the one pressing plant I use. 60 to 80. It used to be $60. Now it's $80 because at 300, they're already printing 500 jackets, right? So there's no increase because of that. And 300 to 500, all you're paying for is those stamps, right? And the little piece of plastic and a little time, right? But you're not paying, all the setup fee is gone and stuff like that. So I've done over the last couple of years, I was like, I get in that thing where I'm like, I might as well do 500 because that means my unit cost goes down and I could send out more promos because it's less like impact, right? It's less loss from a dollar standpoint. But will you move that extra 200 records or extra?
Comes a storage issue.
Yeah. So, and luckily I have a very large practice space with my band, and my bandmates are cool with me having the carbon warehouse in practice space because cool. My partner
I have it here, and they really don't like me having.
Exactly. Yeah.
I'll tell you what owning a label looks like.
Is great.
I'll tell you what owning a label looks like. It's a bunch of boxes, and you start knowing which box is like more expensive than the other. Yes, exactly. Yeah. So it's basically owning a label means having the most random ass stuff and the wrong parts of the house. But you know, I enjoy the ride. I think it's
there you go. Scale, tape gun.
Yeah. I have like all my stuff here. It's a bunch of
my closet. My closet is the most recent distro items and usually 20 to 30 mailers, so I don't have to go down to the basement every 2 minutes.
I have a bunch of stuff that I don't need here, but so that's basically that. I'm gonna have to leave in like 5 minutes, but
we're gonna end the stream.
All right. But thanks for having me.
Awesome job.
And nice talking with you, Joe.
Jose, it was great. Yeah, we should get a Google sheet going with our
I think
stores that we hit.
In general, I would say that it's a lot of work. I'm hats off to you that you can work and all that. The reason that I'm not working and doing this part time is because, again, I haven't gotten a job for what I want to work at, which is a little frustrating. But it takes a lot of your time, and I think it's well worth it.
Yeah, I mean, I have a ball doing it. I wouldn't be doing it if I didn't. So,
yeah.
Well, we should say Jose's got a new release coming out. Well, you've got a few things coming out, I'm sure, that Sound Dome has. We linked to it before. Joe's constantly has new stuff, whether it's mail order or carbon releases. So everybody should check these folks out, putting in the time and the work and the energy to doing what they're doing. So, and it's quality, and it's quality shit too.
Thanks, I appreciate that.
Yeah,
agreed.
We'll put links below or something.
Yeah,
Joel, do you have an update on
all the curses? But sometimes they're needed, I guess.
Well, we're not keeping track of it today. That's a Thursday thing.
Yeah, but yes. Again, I would say that the good thing about independent labels is that you can catch some great artists actually doing music without being held back. There's a lot of freedom on it.
Yeah,
I've never told any artist to change a font or do anything that they didn't want to. And I'm really, happy about the perspective of keep helping out as much as I can. So that's why independent labels are important. So just get curious, start listening to stuff that it's not on your radar. Doesn't mean that it's not good. It just means that you don't know about it.
Yeah. I've changed fonts, just so you know.
Fonts is a big thing.
I have there was a couple fonts that were outside my comfort zone.
Like the music, you can do whatever you want to do, but this font will not stand. It's just
they should just discontinue Comic Sans Serif. Just get it out of the MS suite.
I've tried, but I for whatever reason I can't seem to like tell anybody to change anything. Because most of the times what I do, it's I also help out with the design, so that way I can tell what the font is. But if they didn't like it, I can't do anything about it.
Well, where are we on the petition?
Hopefully, one day Static ATS can be treated with the same kind of respect that Sound Dome is. Maybe one day.
Jeez. Okay.
Maybe you should move to Europe.
Maybe
here's the update.
Can we get one?
Maybe I've never gotten anything weird about them telling me anything weird. So
Joel, USPS does ship from Rochester to Austin. I'm just saying.
There we go.
I haven't gotten any orders.
Let's make it happen. Here is the update on the signature. We got 9 signatures now. Let's look at the comments. We got.
I have to leave, but thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Thanks for being
here,
here,
Jose. Thanks, man.
Cheers.
We got one shots fired at Groove Seeker for some reason.
Yeah, it's got to be Breakfast King. Yeah, of course. It was either going to be him or, well, it's just going to be
all
him.
we got. No, the other people that signed didn't leave comments. So, but we have 9 signatures. So we need 10. So I don't know what people are doing. What you've been doing this whole time.
We're gonna get there. I feel good about it.
I'll put the link in the chat again. Let's get our shit together. We need Jason. Sunday mornings are empty without Jason's DJ stream. So let's make this happen.
That's when I catch up with Stunty's stream because I can never finish it on Friday nights. No offense.
It's a tough time. It is a tough time.
It's true.
I want to thank Jose. I want to thank Carbon Joe here for giving us
thanks, man.
time.
I appreciate it.
I want to thank everyone in the chat. I want to thank Dom Seeking a Thread, Thelonious Funk, The Groove Seeker, Joel Static ATX. And we'll see you next time, everybody. Peace.
Be well.
Joel, you really have to,